All right, hi guys, it's April 6th, 2022. And so this is a video about homework 9. So we went over that in class, but I guess there's some questions still about how we complete it. So I was trying not to do too many videos, but we will do one for this. And here we go. It looks like this. So you should be looking at it where you have this first side is what they call a zonal travel cost model, looking at Headwaters Trail for these, what is that, about 8 or 9 communities. We have population, visits, distance miles, right? This is like what we did in class. For that zonal travel, we did a smaller version. You're going to calculate these values down here. The confusion on this tends to revolve around this thing of doing the regression. And what I did is I had done it for you. So I just need to change that in the future. That is the result of the regression, just like we did in class, where your Y is this visits per 1,000 people, and your X is the travel costs that you have associated with it. And when you run a regression on those two pieces of data, right, you can transpose them if you want to do it yourself, and you would get this equation down here. Visits per 1,000 people equals 791 minus 25 times travel cost. And so what the question here that adds the problem really is, if you have the change in visitors per 1,000, right, you want to estimate the change in visitors per 1,000 if a $2 entry fee is imposed at the entrance of Headwater Trail. So what I'm getting at here is, how much does the visits per 1,000 change if this admission cost was to become $2, right? The admission cost is the travel cost. The travel cost is the same. That's your willingness to pay. That's kind of the fundamental here of travel costs. So hope that helps you on this one. This one here, number 2, you're going to do your own regression. And so some of the issues revolve around that as well. So you're going to do the top part like we did in class, looking at an example where we did a simple average willingness to pay, right, where you have the mean. So there's that PowerPoint that relates to our contingent valuation, which is what this is. And at the end of that, I walk through this basic how we get to a mean willingness to pay. And then in that example, right, boing, this magic regression stuff shows up. Here, you're going to do it, and then you're going to answer these 3 questions down here. So where does that, I think I have to stop share before I can share over here. You should also then have this spreadsheet here. So you can use problem 1, you can use it to figure out which sides you're going to fill in or what the values are there. Problem 2, you have all the data, 121 observations from a class 2 years ago, like I said. So this is survey results for the surveys that you guys are administering as part of this homework. And so you would just be summing these columns, getting the average of these columns, the number of observations, that's over here, 121. And you can figure out what that mean willingness to pay is. That doesn't seem to be the issue really. Where the issue is, and how do we run a regression? So over here, you'll see I have instructions on how to use Excel to calculate or estimate this regression. And so what you're going to do is first look. So follow the examples here. See if you've got it. So click on the data tab, look over here, see I've got it in analysis. It's going to be over on the right in what you have. If you've got data analysis, you can skip to number 3. If you don't, you're going to go over to the file options, and there it's going to pop up here, add-ins. So all I'm doing is following the steps that I had laid out for you. The add-ins are here, and I see all the different add-ins. So active ones are the ones that I have going on my computer. The inactive ones are the ones that I don't. And so what you would be doing is highlighting, because analysis tool pack would be down here on yours, highlight that analysis tool pack and then say go. And when I say go, now you see I've got this. I'm going to add the solver. if I wanted, I would be adding that as well. And I do OK. And now I have the solver add-in loaded into my Excel, even though I don't really use it. I have other things that I use to do that. But anyways, that's how you add something in. So that's this, load the tool pack, and you'll see the solver showed up here, just like the analysis tool pack showed up there. Right, so then you're following on this next one, run the regression, and we're looking for this vote. So, right, that's the column that we want. So I do data analysis, and it's going to pop up with a little thing here, and I'm going to scroll down and look at regression. Okay, now I have my Y's, those, right, that's what I'm estimating, and my X's, those are going to be the things over on the right that I need to calculate these coefficients for. So I'm going to select them. So first thing I want is, I like the idea of having the name at the top of it, and I'm going to go and grab that entire column, that single column, that's my Y. So D3 to D24. For my X's, I can start up here again if that makes it easier. From choice all the way to income, those are the things that are going to be in my equation. You can look also on your sheet and see that that's what we want. I put them all close together to make this easy so that it works. Boom. Now I got them. So because I chose labels at the top, I'm going to click labels here. If I just grab the numbers, I would not choose labels because I wouldn't have put the labels in. And my output, I want it to come to a new worksheet. So it's going to make a new worksheet when I click OK. So how did I know that these are the things that I wanted? Well, part because that's the equation I wrote there, which you can also see down below when we get there, right? So I've got what the equation is to look like, which is that vote equals alpha plus beta 1 times choice plus beta 2 times live, and so on. That's what I want. So that's when I click OK, I run the regression. So R squared here is going to be 0.27. And there's my regression. So now I have coefficients down here for each of these things that I use. So, right, those are what I want, those coefficients. So if I copy those, this is all telling me how that regression works. This is my standard error or my t-stat for each of these coefficients. I come down here into problem 2. And down I go, and I can just paste that here and look at it. So now I've got coefficients and these right here. So those, why don't I not unmerge those? Sorry about that. It makes pasting it hard. I didn't realize it was like that before. And now I got my coefficients. Right, I copy those, I paste in here. These mean values are coming from up here, mean and average, same thing. That's these values here. You can copy the ones that you need and you can paste transpose them. And then here you'd be multiplying the coefficient times the mean. Tricky part here is when you have the intercept, you can assume that that's a 1 if you like, but you're basically going to be bringing this value over. Okay, and then when you sum all of those, right, so anyway, when you sum all of those, you would get the total of that. So what the intercept means is we're starting with a 76% chance, right, that I'm gonna use it, because I'm gonna multiply in the end the sum of the coefficients times the mean, that's this thing right here, times the mean of choice. And the choice here is that guy right there, the bid that you had is that choice. So that one, it's like 6.31 or something like that, right? Because that number is going to be right here. So if I took 6.31 times that, that's going to give me that number. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. You've got these that you've estimated, you get the means that you're going to calculate up here, and you're going to have a value here that is some sort of percentage of the mean of the choice or that bid variable there. And that'll be the number that goes there. So somewhere in the 3.65 to 4 range, but hopefully you get much closer than that because we're looking for the right answer there since you're using Excel. So, and you will then transfer that onto your sheet. And then there are 3 questions at the bottom. So pretty basic questions there. When you're thinking about number 2 on there, people with higher incomes are willing to pay more. I included on this, and you have, of course, because you're going to be administering it, what the questions were. And so on this income one, when I'm asking about incomes, the question was, is your income less or equal to $52,000, the median for Idaho? So if it's less than 52,000, we coded it a 1. If it was more than 52,000, we coded it a 0, right? So yes equals 1, no equals 0. Just like over here, we did male equals 1, other equals 0. And if you lived close, that was a 1. So that tells you how this is going to change, right? So if it's a 1, low income, that's going to drop that percentage. If it's a high income, it's the other, right? So you guys can think through that. And then just like in our little cartoon video, first we figure out that willingness to pay per the visit there, and then we have the numbers of visits. We get that total for Spring Valley for Latah County. So hopefully that helps you guys, get you through it. If not, you can always send me an email, and I will see you in class on Friday.